Yes, yes. Well, I'm trying because these days we're living are not so, what can I say, are not easy, but I'm trying my
Would
best.
would you mind, Fidel, explaining a little bit about that? What's
Well, all of this coronavirus and all of these problems and all this, I think it is like a spiritual awakening we're having. Like, yes, yeah.
Isn't that so nice?
Well, it is nice, but it's kind of difficult at times
What do
to
you mean?
handle, to face, because when you turn on the TV and you see all this bad news and you start to get worried and you think about your family, but at the same time you have this spiritual perspective when you can understand what's happening around and you say, okay, this has to be for a reason and we have to keep up and not to give up and not to give in and we have to fight against it.
Awesome. In
so? Really quick, I'm sorry, Fidel. You're okay with
Yes.
recording this conversation?
Yeah, sure. It's okay.
Awesome.
This is Fidel's first time
Yes.
as a celebrity.
Nice. It's good
I
to
mean,
have you
actually,
on.
I mean, Fidel has had many amazing times where he was interviewed and recognized, and
Yes.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Can you give us a little bio, Fidel?
Okay. Well, my name is Fidel Armando Cañas Chavez. I'm from El Salvador, Central America, and I'm living in Brazil. I teach applied linguistics in the University of Brasilia, and it's been like 7 years since I came to Brazil. I love this country. I love Portuguese language, and I am a teacher, Portuguese for foreigners. But now I'm working with teacher education for future language teachers.
Awesome.
And you know
Yes.
multiple languages, it sounds like. You know French
Well,
as well. I mean, like,
well, French, I can, I won't die if I go to France. I can say some phrases or a few words, and I speak Spanish, my mother tongue, and Portuguese, and English.
Awesome. And a little bit of
Yes.
Russian and a little bit of
Of
Japanese.
Jap, yes, but that's like I will die if I go to.
no, you
No,
won't. You
Yes,
just point at
yes.
the pictures on the menu.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
no. Yeah.
So are you guys, well, Brent and Anne are in the same place, but in different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I'm in
I'm upstairs. He's
I live
downstairs.
in San Diego, but right now I'm in Newport Beach. And
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So Koichi is in Newport. How did your morning go?
It went pretty good. I'm taking care of David Mailer. He's the founder of Man on Fire. It's a men's group, coaching group, and so he has a long day, and his staff has a long day. So I take care of him. I did my morning routine and had some calls and did some work, and then now I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah, morning's going pretty productively.
Yeah.
We were talking about last time we talked about our conversation today being about breaking out of your shell or
Oh,
experiencing that. And I've had a pretty interesting morning where I am trying to write my first blog post, and
nice.
been it has been an experience in, of course, feeling like I'm not worthy, the things I have to say aren't good enough, and on and on and on. But it really brought me to a crappy place. It brought me to a place where I felt overwhelmed and shaking, and I just wanted to go to bed. And
Wow.
so through I realized we just went to the grocery store just to go out and go somewhere, and to get out of it. And the experience was, after talking about it and trying to vomit it up and just like get rid of it, it was just a thing of just going, just like, even though it was hard, just laughing and just trying as hard as I can to break out of that and to break out of that shell. And it really was helpful. It felt like a perfect time for this discussion and the practice that comes out of it, I guess.
Oh,
I love your little babies behind you, Fidel.
yes, they are here, jumping and barking a lot. I'm sorry.
No.
They're very
No,
cute.
eventually they will bark a lot, so that's why I'm apologizing before.
Ahead of
But,
time.
okay. Yes. But when you say you were writing, can you share a little bit about what the ideas you had or the experience you had while you were writing?
So what we decided to do were write posts on these discussions that we've had.
Okay.
We each pick one and then we write about it.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so I was writing, and it just seemed like I was just like writing all my frustrations. It was like I was just one frustration after another, or one block after another, or one feeling of sadness after another. And it was just like, this stuff's so sad. What if, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, what am I trying to get through this? And I went through that, and then I bounced on the trampoline a little bit to try to get me going. And what I realized is sort of yes, I need to sort of express with everything that I write, like a sort of a pain or like something that I'm going through at the moment, right? And then the next step is sort of the story behind it, or the story that to explain it a little bit more. And then I guess the part that I haven't made to in it is how I got out of it, or what kind of how I felt that passion or felt that inspiration to write. This is new to me, so I'm not, you know what I mean?
Nice, but that's interesting.
Yeah, the story's not complete yet. There's like the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always another side to frustration. I love frustration. There is a time when I'm Japanese, so of course you guys are from Brazil, so you know a lot of Japanese food there and everything. And so you eat with chopsticks, and my older son was learning how to eat with chopsticks. He must have been like, I don't know, 3. He was young. I don't know how. He was still in a baby chair, and he was learning how to eat rice from a bowl, right? And he was trying to eat, and he was really frustrated. He was like, in his little baby voice, he was like, "Daddy, Daddy, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, Daddy." And it's like he wanted help. He was pleading, but there was like this energy that was rising, and the frustration, and the same energy I saw in you when you're going, yeah, like that, when you're explaining like the breakthrough that you're having. And there's like this, but it wasn't fully like this. It was like internal, like, and Lisa looked at me, I looked at her, and I was like, no, not yet. Let's just see what happens. And so we just kind of looked away, and we're just kind of eating our food. and then God, it was like, oh, like this. And all of a sudden, boop, you hear it quiet. You're like, what, has something happened? He looked over, and he scooped the rice into his mouth. He didn't really kind of pincer it, but he scooped it and he got it in.
Yeah.
And so there's this, like when we're kids, we're not self-conscious about like the frustration or the energy. It's just, we're in it. We get to experience it. When we fully get to experience it, it's like it pops and something happens. And in the language of, there's different states. There's 12 states of healing. It's popping from 3 to 4. And 3 is a frustration, 4 is empowerment, right? And so if you hold on to it and squeeze it just long enough, like it pops into something else. And so what I wanted to say on this was that, Brent, this is so beautiful because this is perfect. Like in our blogs, in our videos, it's like really allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, allowing ourselves to experience the pain we're in, experience frustration, and for you to express that. I haven't read it yet. But I'm curious as to, you know, there's some pain or frustration or sadness that's there. That takes a lot of guts, especially for men, to actually expose that to the world, right? And whether there's an ending to it or not, it could be like a 2 or 3 part series. It doesn't matter. We can like follow you in your journey around that, and it doesn't have to be forcefully resolved. It could just be what you are experiencing. The end of the story is going to come.
I like that.
And so allow it to be just a full expression of who you are, right? Not who you are, but what you're going through. Who you are is something different than what you're experiencing, right? It's something bigger, but like there's something in exposing yourself that way, which is so beautiful, right? And when I read something or when I'm in a group like this and someone expresses a specific breakdown or frustration, it allows me to share what I'm going through too, and allows me to heal whatever I'm going through. There's like a field effect that happens when you name it, something opens up for the rest of the group. And so if you feel comfortable on this format with video, would you be open to sharing just like maybe one thing that was frustrating or that was painful for you that you were experiencing?
Yes. The absolute fear that one part of it, the fear that the way that others will look at me, how somebody would read it or watch this but it was, for some reason, maybe it's a medium that I haven't done before as far as writing, but it was that people will laugh at me, and people will not see what I'm trying to do. Even it feels so much like I always try to like explain what I do. I always need to explain what I do so everyone will understand what I'm saying or trying to get across. And in that process, it stops me so much, and then it really doesn't come across to the other person.
The opposite happens.
Yeah. And so in writing, it all felt so sad, and it all felt so hopeless. And in that part, it was, I guess, the thought that people won't understand what I'm coming from, and there's no reason for this, and fuck it all, you know? Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? Because I'm very interested in these things. It's for Kiyoshi. You were saying that there are 12 steps for healing, and step 3 and step 4 are like very interesting steps. But how can we go to this 4th step?
The 4th
because
step?
many people, yes, because for instance, like myself, I love to be in this suffering state, and I love it, and I love to like cry and write songs and like being really sad about it, and it doesn't move me to change sometimes, and it in that step it makes me feel more frustrated because I can't change and I can't do anything about it. So how can we go to this next step, this step number 4?
Okay, well, on an energetic level, like when we feel the frustration, what do you do when you get to that frustrated level? What is your natural go-to?
I cry.
Okay. So, and does it feel like that frustration gets released?
No.
No, it's still there, okay?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And then what happens the next day? Does that come back, or is it just like it still lingers, or?
Well, I think that for me personally, I kind of liked it to be with me, and I like to be like in that stage.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I can't lose weight, and it makes me it's frustrating not to be able to lose weight, and I eat, and I cry, and I feel sad, and I feel hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a circle, and I can't move forward.
Here's a weird question. What is it that a part of you gets? What does a disempowered part of you get when you stay in the cycle and you stay frustrated and you stay sad, right? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What is the payoff?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
It's just let that percolate in there, right?
Okay.
There's always some kind of a payoff that we get, but like, I don't want to drop into technique right away because there's something deeper here. There's probably a wound in there, right? And
of course. Yeah.
There's probably something we got when we were a kid if we acted a certain way, right?
Okay.
I'm thinking a little bit about personality styles, like the Enneagram and the Sufi understanding of 9 personality styles. One of the personality styles is being tragic romantic. It's
that's me. Yeah.
It's the style of France. It's the style of Edith Piaf. Edith Piaf, right? That that whole sort of like take my heart and just break it. I'm enjoying it. Please do some more.
Yeah, yes.
Drag me through the.
Yes.
That is tragic. That is Enneagram type 4, the tragic romantic, melancholy.
Tragic romantic. Okay.
And it's the artist, and so I must admit I'm one of them. And so there is a deep payoff in that place of just like, I am feeling so deeply and I'm feeling the suffering of the world. And that is all I can do. I am living in a world that is so sad and that is with so much pain. And my heart breaks for the world and for myself. And that then in itself is an identity. And there is sort of like, what I used to do for easy 10 years or more is every night I would cry myself to sleep until I would get to this kind of state of like what a child goes through, where at the end you just sort of like have these like little like heaves, and that of course was a huge relief, right? To allow myself to at least feel that. And so that in itself seemed like a nice way through it. It was, but the identity was untouched. The idea, I think that we're doing this here to really explore whether we could become free and really be our higher self, right? Be that joyful, radiating experience that we all have had, but most of the time as an identity as well. And back in that day, I didn't even think that was in the cards. Like the idea of even thinking that I deserved, especially with the world being in shambles, based on media, based on my mom's views, based on whatever. It was just like, that was the best I could do, is just go through the stages of realizing something was wrong, looking at what I could blame, and then just being stuck in frustration and incredible sadness and making that a virtue. Making that at least some kind of like high level of expression.
I'm doing that for the world.
And that's sort of like the
Go ahead, Koichi, you go. Say, go.
for it.
You just described the pathway. You just described the pathway. Like, we got to allow ourselves to to experience from a place of like observation, like in the exercises we did where we found a place of ease, right, in the first unit, and then find the place where we have our suffering, where we have our heartbreak, where we feel helpless, right? Allowing ourselves to even just acknowledge that is huge. And having it in our nervous system to know that there's actually a place in our system where our brain can recognize, oh yeah, there's safety to be able to feel that. Great. Boom. Check mark. Number 2, blaming the world. It's because of these crazy people in the world that are putting all this energy, negativity, and violence out into the field that I'm feeling this heartbreak, and it's their fault. And it's like, they're wrong, I'm right. You know, having the polarity conversation in your home body. That's second, when we put the blame out there. Then the third part is that, like you said, and the frustration, right? And there's an energy to frustration. As it builds up, it's like this, right? This, right? And allowing that to kind of not release through crying or through kind of dissipating, like in the first stage of suffering, like feeling the suffering, acknowledging it, and just allowing us to feel that sometimes it dissipates. Now, as we move along, like being more safe with feeling that, like truly feeling that, just allowing it to do this. To squeeze the frustration. Do not release it. Just let it build up, right? There's a point where that frustration builds up. It's like, and it pops. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I've been doing this to myself. Yeah? To be able to say no. Not like, no! It's like, not like a tantrum, no. It's like I've been doing, no more, no. Okay, I'm gonna say no to that. I'm gonna say yes to this. Really being a no to what you're a no to, being really a yes to it, being like a promise to like that inner child that's been hurt, right? Whatever that promise was, that little kid during the healing process. So there is a level of forgiveness that goes along in that process when we feel the frustration, right? To acknowledge and forgive a part of us that we've left behind, that we sold out to the things that we should do in our identity. I am the hopeless romantic, so this is my role, right? But what did you leave behind? Did you leave behind that kid that was joyful, playful, carefree, determined, or like headstrong, whatever that part of that we left behind, to just forgive that part for, you know, selling out to something else, you know, to selling out to should, or the way we kind of imprison ourselves into an identity. And then allowing that softness to come through. And in all the first 3 steps is really allowing ourselves to be gentle, really gentle and kind to ourselves. And then even though it seems like it's harsh, like squeezing that frustration, we're just acknowledging it, right? We're really allowing it to be there and just amplify it. And that energy, it's like you're building chi when you're about to do a martial arts thing, right? You build, you're soft, but then like there's some tension in the body. There's tension in your hips and your feet, and all of a sudden you let it go, right? And all of a sudden the energy goes forward. So the same thing with moving from stage, like the stage 3 to stage 4, is to allow that energy to build, get familiar with the frustration, squeeze it a little bit, right? And on the other side of that, like really acknowledge what you've left behind, what you left unprotected, what you left like as unsacred anymore, right? What you dumped in the trash can, you know, like
which was your higher self.
Say that again.
Which was your higher self, actually.
Which was our higher self, yeah. Which is a little, like a beautiful little child, like a baby has all this like nuclear energy that kind of like, you know, when you hold a baby, it's like holding a nuclear furnace. It's like, right? And
we
so,
have a question or something to find what that was that you left behind, or to just have a little bit more of a feeling of that in the way that you explained it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think we all know what it is for us. As we dig deeper, we'll find what that is.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm actually curious to ask Fidel, because Fidel is a medium. So Fidel goes into a state that is different than his personality.
Yes.
The state that you go into when you're a medium, does that feel more unburdened? Fidel?
Well, Well, I can describe that as a higher superior being, which is next to you, telling you what to say or what to think or what to do. It's like, of course, it is superior. It's timeless. It's expansive. It's huge. And I can feel that. And sometimes I say things while I'm doing this medium work, and I say things, and well, while I'm saying those things, I'm like, I will never say that in a daily basis. That will never come into my mind if I was talking to this person in a cafe or in a restaurant. So that's a very interesting thing that I feel that I can feel the wisdom in the words. I can feel the essence of the presence of the entity, and it's beautiful. It's timeless. It's very interesting.
Do you ever get to have that conversation with the entity with yourself too?
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And has there ever been conversations where the entity and you had a conversation about things that you need to bring up again, or
Of
like
course.
relive again? What were some of the things that have been left behind that are now like being encouraged to come forward in your life?
Well, for instance, like things I had to change of my personality or things that I'm struggling with. And sometimes I can feel this presence or voice that's saying you have to change this in order to be a greater person. And I'm like, it's like an advice I'm hearing, and I'm like, you're right. And it's like a little conversation I'm having, and I'm like, okay, if you're pointing this thing, help me to change. So that's why I surrender myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm here, help me. And many times I can feel that energy and that strength to change.
So when you feel the energy, what is that? I mean, you feel the strength, but is there any other quality? I'm going to close the door here so I don't.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any other qualities that come through in your experience as far as the energy goes?
No, I can feel energy or intuition. That's it.
How would you describe intuition or energy? What does it feel like to you? Is it gentle? Is it subtle?
Yes.
Is it warm? Is it loving? Is it sort of like feeling more expansive?
Well, in the beginning, when I was starting this medium works, I feel like very powerful, like strong energy. But as time went by, I was feeling like subtle, like more loving energy. For instance, I remember a lot the day I was working with you. I remember this full loving energy that was coming to me for you, and I felt that super interesting, and I was very happy to feel that, because many times I feel like love, that's love
That's it.
in the purest form, and that love helps us to change and to see things in another perspective.
Yes.
That's what I felt. Yeah. And
So
you're happy.
that's the contrast, right? That is the
Yes,
contrast.
yes.
I mean, it seems like for you, you kind of make a distinction between the energy that comes and speaks with you and yourself.
Yes. Oh,
But still, that energy that you're feeling it, right? So, I mean, it is you, right? You are the one who's
yes,
experiencing
yes,
it, right?
yes, yes.
And that experience is the contrast, right? That is what really helps me change, is to feel the contrast between the hellish feelings of self-judgment and feeling stuck in this small little sense of self that I have built when I was 4 years old. And back in the day, I used to think very, very black and white. You know, if somebody said you don't have anything to say, that's correct. I would say, okay, 100% for the rest of my life, I don't have anything to say that's correct. And that is now what I'm going to put myself into forever. So that's how it was built, right? And that experience that I think most of us live in, which is we try not to push out of the box. We try to just stay comfortable, you know, and this is why, you know, losing weight is so difficult. It's not because losing weight per se is so difficult, but it is because we would be pushing out of the box. We would feel that we deserve to feel good about ourselves. The box says, I don't. I am, based on whatever experience that you had as a child when you built your sense of self. I don't deserve to feel good about myself. I shouldn't be proud of myself. I shouldn't accomplish things, whatever. So as soon as you don't stay safe and just basically do everyday stuff that just doesn't challenge you much, you know, or that maybe you can challenge yourself under certain circumstances, like if it is to make your mom proud, it's okay, you know, or something like that. But if it is just for you, no way, you know, especially not from El Salvador, you know, from the Christian country, right? The savior country, yes. You know? So that's really what it is to experience the contrast between what it feels like when we're in that frustration, in that complete hell place, where we just basically say to ourselves, and we're so convinced that it's true, that we're just absolutely not worthy. And I mean, personally, as a 4, I think that what I'm feeling is even more painful and deeper than anyone else. That's just part of a 4-ish thing.
That's part of the story? Okay, got it.
Part of the story. And then to really have that contrast of times when you feel that amazing joy, that amazing elation, that amazing sense of freedom, that sense of peace that just makes you want to cry because you are in your soul. You are going like, oh my God, there it is, you know?
Yes.
And then to sort of like slowly kind of go like, well, you know, I've experienced it so many times. With time, can I allow myself to reconnect with the bottom of the iceberg, which is my soul, which is that experience, instead of steadfastly staying in the box, which is the top of the iceberg that you see when you're on top of the ocean, you know? And that, I think, is the voyage.
Go ahead, Koichi.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, how'd you know I had a question? You get to read me so well now. When you go into state, Fidel, when you go into a state, where do you feel the energy? Where do you feel the strength? Where do you feel the love? Like in your system, like out here and here, where does it usually you notice it?
Well, I can feel in my hands, and in my chest, in my head, and that's it. Yes.
So, like, did you ever feel like around you too, or is it pretty much embodied?
Yes, around. Yes, and many times in this part here.
Oh, the Lao Gang in Chinese medicine. That's the Lao Gang, right? So energy center. And how far away do you usually feel it around you if it's outside of you?
How far?
I can't tell how far.
Is it pretty infinite?
Feel it right now. Feel it right now.
Well, maybe like like 1 meter, like so.
Yeah, like somewhere around here or so. Yeah.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I saw both you and Anne actually doing this. This is kind of like one of the stages where we can access this. And do you want to do a little something together, all 4 of us?
Yes.
So we can get the contrast. Maybe we can do a little, like little mini SRI kind of like
Yes.
session. Are you guys
Yes.
open to this, Fidel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You can't crack up, Cody.
So we bring our arms out like this, and this is perfect, Fidel, that you're describing this, because this whole area, we're just gonna kind of like focus on this whole area out here, and there's an expansion phase where we go out into the ethers, and then there's, I guess, internal phase where we bring it all in here.
Okay.
And this is one of the states, number 9, and this is really allowing us to kind of merge with the oneness of that love that we become part of, okay? And for those, if we're going to record this and show it, like for those of you, this just, you know, this might just be an exercise just bodily at first, but like when you're doing this, there's a field. There's like a field between all of us. Just keep your arms up here and like face your palms to each other. These parts, just face them towards each other like you're holding a big cosmic beach ball. And for those of you watching, just connect to all 4 of us and just imagine a field surrounding us. And as we're doing this, we're going to breathe in through our mouth, out the nose. This is emerging breath. And as you're doing this, you're allowing your concentration and awareness to go into your palms of your hand, out into your fingertips. And if you can imagine from your fingertips, little spider-like threads, spider-webby threads going out to infinity. Close your eyes and go past the sky. Imagine, bring your imagination out into the solar system. You can imagine the sun and the planets. Your imagination can take you out to more stars out there into the Milky Way. Breathing into your mouth, out your nose. Going further out into the stars, into the light. The stuff you're made out of is all out there as well. Carl Sagan says, we're all stardust. We're made of these shiny things that are out there burning. And now as we go into the second phase, we're going to bring that light in through our fingertips, through a little spider webby tendril out of our fingertips into the palms of our hand. And we're going to consciously bring it into our hearts. Just be absorbed into the source of all that light. Bring it into your heart. Let your heart lift just a little bit so you can feel a little movement. Bless you into your mouth, out your nose. I wonder if the dogs are enjoying this too. In through your nose, out the mouth. Into the mouth, out the nose. I can even speak. Just getting to that state. Feeling the tone and vibration. Letting yourself be breathed. And if there's a tone that needs to come out, letting yourself be sounded. And gently bring your arms down.
Where do we bring him?
Anywhere on your lap, just put them down.
Wow.
Every time I do it together with people, it's a different flavor. So thank you for all doing this. This is wow. And that's a field effect that we get to be a part of, the oneness.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm curious, what did you all experience?
Well, I felt like I was actually holding a beach ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this expansive energy in this area. And my hands were like just doing like this, boom, boom, boom.
Ooh, nice. So cool.
It was very interesting.
I felt similar. And then when we went out to the stars, it was so heavy. It was just like, just holding it all. And I could just feel the little tentacles just going.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that at some point my hands were being held. Like it wasn't me anymore having to hold anything up.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just felt like I had a glimpse of what it feels like not to be me, but to actually be the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that shift from my identity as a human being to my identity as the soul.
Wow.
You know, and that is hard to express in a sound.
In a human sound, yes.
I was trying to get the sound and I wanted to go higher and higher and higher, but I couldn't go as high as I wanted to go.
I did coughing just when we moved the energy back to the heart. It was like it just sort of chucked out some stuff and just filled it up with just awesome.
Oh, wow. So it cleared some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, now that we're all high, there's a place of resource, right, that we can come from, whether it's knowing like the invisible or getting rid of something or feeling the stars or feeling one or feeling the energy. From this resourceful place, there's more energy, right, where we can actually do some other thing. And so you had asked about Fidel, about like going from 3 to 4 and like feeling the frustration. And I was wondering if you guys would be open to doing one more piece where we can go from here to actually kind of looking into that place where we have frustration. Okay, so like, yeah, I don't want to leave it either.
Yeah. Let's make this where we want to live. I mean, there's no reason why we would have to leave it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that is the new awakening. That is the new energy. That right now is still being fought, you know, by the media that tries to just barrage you with difficulty and, you know, and
fear.
Some of the consciousness and fear. But this is really our birthright.
Are you saying that an act of being in safety is an act of rebellion?
Yes.
I love it. I love being a rebel.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Right. We claim our power. I mean, this is the true power, right? This is us going like we are the universe. Right? And in previous lives, we probably got burnt at the stake for it, but now it's different.
Yay to witchcraft.
Yeah.
As time goes by.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Brent.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, just the energy, the synergy of us four just feels so beautiful, so special, but also so sweet and so peaceful and so safe. And there's just so many possibilities in it. Like we can resolve it all if we want to resolve it, or we can be there and just hold each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all possible.
Mm-hmm. And remember, Fidel, we're here for you. And
thank you very much.
Please.
And I'm here too.
You know, not everything has to be in public and in, you know, in the group and stuff like that. Really, if you have a question for either one of three of us, please just call me or write, or just a note if you want something. You know what I mean? When you're in that place.
Of course I will.
Awesome.
And you look different. You look like whoa, more relaxed.
Than at the beginning?
Yes.
For sure. I feel so.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do like before calls and after calls, you know?
Snapshots.
Luigi starts all his calls like a penguin.
Are you going to post that joke? Did you post that joke?
No, I'm going to do it right now, though. I'll do it right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Show Fidel your penguin quick, and then we'll do
Oh, my goodness. It's so hot out. I need some ice cream. Oh.